Hi guys, I am back with an update. We're in the car. We're on our way from the mall. The kids are finally asleep, so we figured this is the best time to do it. If everybody doesn't know, this is my husband Ben. Say hi, Ben.
Hi.
So I have an update, not much. So we're gonna do something else in this video too. But so my medical stuff came back from Vegas. Everything's good. I did have to get one shot, but that's all done. And my legal stuff has kind of started. We're just waiting for the intended parents' medical stuff to come back. I guess they had to do their psych eval and stuff too. So once that stuff comes back, then we can really actually start talking to lawyers and get a contract going and stuff like that. So that is all kind of at a standstill right now. We're just waiting for that to come back. But I know 3 videos ago I said that I had big news that we wanted to tell you. So I figured this was the best time when it's quiet and we can both be here. So for those of you that don't know our story, we were both in the Navy. I was in for 4 years, he was in for 5. I joined right out of high school, I graduated high school in January, and I left for boot camp in February. So I was only out of school for a month when I joined the Navy. But anyways, okay, so I was an AM in the Navy, an aviation structural mechanic. I took the job just because it kind of sounded cool, even though I didn't really want it. I was told that once I actually get to my first command, I could just cross right to hospital corpsman, which is what I wanted. Well, it turns out it's not that easy, and I hated my job. Actually, I didn't hate it. It was okay, I guess. I just, I wasn't comfortable enough with it that it was something that I wanted to do for a really long time. So I got out the first chance that I got. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I love it, but I kind of still wanted something, I always thought about maybe once the kids are in school, I would do, paramedic swimming. So that was kind of what I was looking for. Now, do you want to tell your story?
Yes. So I joined my junior year of high school. I enlisted. Spent 5 years in. I shipped out kind of after summer my senior year. I was going off to college. Shipped off to boot camp. I did 5 years. That's when we met on the boat when I was on restriction and trouble.
That's another story.
Yeah, but I absolutely loved it. I loved every second of the Navy. I loved my job. I was an aviation ordnanceman. I worked on the weapons elevators. I also helped with building bombs and working on forklifts and stuff like that.
He worked on forklifts. He didn't build bombs.
I have built bombs.
In high school. Okay, that's not
I built bombs on the boat and loaded them on planes.
So why did you get out of the Navy?
I got out because I wanted to be with the kids more. My whole thing, I thought it was that I really didn't want to get deployed ever again. I think it really boiled down to I didn't want my kids to be military brats moved all over the place.
He had to make the decision when he was on deployment. So we had just found out that I was pregnant with Bo. A week after you were on deployment? 2 weeks. 2 weeks into deployment, we found out that I was 2 weeks in Greece. Yeah.
Suda Greece.
Right. So we found out that I was 2 weeks pregnant when he was 2 weeks into his deployment. And Anne-Marie was only 9 months old when he left for deployment. So he missed first birthday and everything else. So while he was on deployment was when he had to make this decision if he was going to re-enlist or if he was going to get out. So obviously at that point we decided it was best for him to be home and not be away from us all the time. So that's kind of the background. So for those of you that don't know, Navy actually means never again volunteer yourself, right? Never again. Well, we're stupid, and we volunteered ourselves again.
Round 2.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit. One day we were just I don't know how it came up, talking about how he missed it, I guess. Because I don't particularly miss it because of my job. I didn't miss being in that field. But he missed it, and I'm why are you stupid? Why didn't you just stay in? And then we were talking about how a lot of people had said, oh, they only give him a year and he'll be back in because of how much he loved it. So I'm why don't you just get back in? It was just something that he loved so much. I didn't understand why he wouldn't want to do it. So that kind of sparked a conversation, and we talked about the reserves, because that way he can kind of do what he wants to do. We kind of have a paycheck coming in a little bit, and it builds up another retirement for him. Since he has his 401k with work, this would just be like a second retirement for him to secure our future, since, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I don't know if I would ever really be able to have a job that secure that I would have a retirement like that. So we talked about it and cried a lot. I mean, I cried a lot because it's me. I think we really only talked about it like one time over dinner.
in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Really,
in the kitchen.
That's what we really talked about.
That's it. Like, we sat down and talked like that one day
Like
for like an
15
hour.
minutes.
Yeah. And then the next day, we were talking to, was it the next day? It was like 2 days.
2 days later.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 days later, because we had to take Steph to the recruiter. So while we were there, we asked questions about the reserves. Now they like didn't, the reserves person like wasn't there, so we had to like wait and get in contact with senior chief. So while we were there and talking, I was like, what if I did the reserves? I'm like, but I wouldn't be able to leave. I would not be able to like go to A school for months at a time, and my 2 weeks would have to be like in the summertime, so I would have somebody to watch the kids, like whatever. So I kind of thought about it for a second, and then he got a call from senior chief, and he sent her my way. So she called me, and we were on the phone for 5 minutes, and she was like, you know, A school for fleet returnees is completely different. You can bring your kids. I was like, okay, wait a minute. So now at this point, with 2 phone calls, we were both starting the process to enlist into the Navy Reserves.
I mean, people think that might be irrational and we're jumping into stuff, but we did do our time in.
Right.
We
it's
know
something
what the
that we're
Navy's
familiar
like.
with, yeah. So it wasn't like we just dove right into it blind. It's something that we were familiar with. Like, when I originally went to the recruiter 6 years ago, it was for the reserves. I wasn't interested in active until I talked to a recruiter, which, I mean, it's their job, so they're good at it, obviously, and I was in for 4 years. But anyways, so it's not something that we just kind of like dove into. Yes, we didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it, because once the seed was planted, we both kind of just ran with it, because I think it was something that was always kind of in the back of our minds. So yeah, so we are both actually originally started trying to get MA, which is Master at Arms, which is like military police, for those of you that don't know. So I've always wanted to be in law enforcement in some way. I actually secretly have always wanted to be like in the FBI. Like, that's something that would just be amazing to me. So this was kind of like my closest way of getting to that. So we were both looking at Master at Arms, and I started the process. Like, you have to get like this whole background check and everything, and like you can't have any debt, and you can't what were some other really weird things? Any
police involvement at
yeah,
all
like my
3
traffic
years.
tickets, like my speeding tickets. I've recently, in the past 2 years, gotten a speeding ticket, driving without an inspection, and running a stop sign in the last 2 years. So I could have still applied, but that kind of scared me away. I didn't want to go through the process and spend all this time waiting for it to come back for me to not even get it. So I'm like, you know what else is out there? And she said hospital corpsman. And that's what I originally wanted to go into the Navy for. And I was going to school for occupational therapy assistant. And I considered, after my school closed, I was like so close to being done. So like I considered going back to school and trying to finish it. Or if I couldn't find a school for OT, I thought maybe doing nursing. But I was like over school. I had spent so much time away from my kids, and now I had the chance to be a stay-at-home mom. So I didn't want to do that. But with hospital corpsman, I would be in Texas for 5 months, and I would be like, I could be pretty much a nurse, but just in the Navy. So that's what I ended up taking. But he had a little bit different journey.
Yeah, started off talking about MA, and then they offered me, there's this whole CB division into the Navy, which is, their whole thing is we build, we fight. They go and...
They're like the construction people.
They'll do all the construction, equipment operators. engineering aides that do blueprints and they go and draw stuff up and help build roads and build buildings overseas. They could be going to build barracks in a combat zone. That's like, they do all that type of stuff. And there was a spot open and everything. I qualified for EO, which is equipment operator, which I would have loved that because I'm a heavy equipment technician in my job, civilian job. It'd be fun to operate it whenever I'm there. But as we swore in and signed our contracts and they went to put me in.
We didn't do that. My stuff was done. I was ready to go. We were waiting for his stuff to come back. And we didn't want to wait for that stuff to come. We were like, there's no way anything's going to happen, right? We were like, there's no way that it's not going to be available, like whatever. So we went ahead and did it. I don't think you signed your contract.
No, I didn't sign anything.
He swore in. And then it came back while we were at lunch celebrating that we're in the reserves. It came back that somebody else took
earlier
the spot.
That day took the last A school spot.
Right.
So I could no longer get that job. So the journey began. The next day, was it the next day? Within 2 days or so.
Yeah, it was very quickly.
I get a call that quartermaster's open. And for those that don't know Navy
that
rates,
was the next day. The QM was open.
Quartermaster, they do like flags.
They do nothing.
They don't do anything, but you can make rank really fast. So I thought about it. I'm like, well, I'll give you guys a call back and then I talk to my wife. We talked about it for a second. I'm like, well, if I could make chief in like 5 years, why not? You know, I mean, I might not do much when I'm in, but it's an easy job and I can make a lot of money by making rank quick. And then I called him, or then he called me when maybe 15 minutes later, our recruiter, NC1 calls and goes, oh, yeah, those slots are gone. I'm like, all right, let's keep this going. So then...
This is when EA became available.
Yeah, then EA, which is engineering aid, actually drawing up blueprints and everything, came up, and I would have loved to have done that. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, well, you need a higher ASVAB score.
At this point, he didn't qualify for anything because of his ASVAB score, but EA was available if he could get his score higher. Yeah. That was still the only one that was available.
So, because when I first took my ASVAB, I was a sophomore in high school. Didn't really care. Didn't know if I was going to the military. Like, who wants to take the ASVAB? It gets you out of this class. Like, yeah, sure. Went and took it. Did terrible on it. I scored a 35, which is a bare minimum to get into the Navy. But I never retook it then because they offered me a job and they said, here, you can go build bombs for the Navy. And I'm like, absolutely, let's go do it.
Those recruiters are good.
Yeah. But, so I go to retake it. And I honestly didn't think I was going to do that good. I'm like, I crammed in how many days did I have? 3 days?
It was you found out on a Thursday
night,
that
Friday.
You were going to take the ASVAB Monday morning.
I'm like, well, I haven't been in high school in 7 years, so let's see how this turns out.
And he really didn't even study that much. He had the app, but it was in the car for 10 minutes that he would study each day, and that was it.
Keep going, you get a study day? I'm like, yeah.
But then he wouldn't.
So I went and took it. And I actually scored a 60 on it this time, which I guess is really good.
Yeah, I think that's good, right? Isn't Nuke in the 70s? I thought that was really good.
Well, all the recruiters they thought it was extremely good. But so the way the ASVAB works, it breaks down to line scores.
Right.
Each section you do in the ASVAB, there's different scoring. And certain line scores have to meet certain criteria.
There's a mechanics
jobs.
One, and then there's all the basics, math and science and stuff like that.
So based off your line scores, they give you the job that you're suited for. And so they go, and I had to get a certain line score for EA. Retake it, told them I got a 6. Wow, that's great. You should be good to go. Go in there, I was 4 points off of my combined line score. 4 points.
So EA wasn't
getting EA. Couldn't get EA. And I'm sitting there. Jess had dropped me off that morning to take the
so I wasn't even there.
Yep. And I'm sitting there and she goes, well, there's one job completely available. You can sign your contract right now. I'm like, what is that? I'm hospital corpsman. So
he made this decision completely without me. It wasn't until we were eating lunch everything was done. We were just waiting for him to be able to swear in. That's all we were waiting for. So we were
I signed my contract.
Right. So we went and ate lunch. We took the kids for a walk before we could go back to swear in. So while we're doing all this, wasting time, he was like, oh, by the way, I took HM. I was like, what?
Well, when I talked to you first, I'm like, I got a 6. Can you get EA? And I was like, I don't know yet. We got to check the lines for it. I'll call you later.
And then he didn't call me later because he just took HM.
And I guess she assumed I got EA.
Yeah, I did. He didn't say anything, so I just assumed that nothing had changed and he was still going with the contract that was already ready, right? So I get there and he's like, nope, just kidding, I took HM. So now we are both, well, he's an HM3. I am technically a HM-SN, which is seaman, because I made rank while I was on maternity leave.
No, you were on terminal at this point.
No, because when I went back to check out, I wore my crows. True. But I was never actually frocked. Yeah. So I was on maternity leave when I made rank from, I was on maternity leave after Bo. So I had come back for like 2 days to check out, and then I went on terminal leave. So for those 2 days, I put my crows on myself, and I was 3rd class. I was never actually frocked though, because I was on leave. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my 3rd class.
We think she should. All the signs are pointing to.
I made rank like that quota, like it was mine. So I think I should be able to get it. Just my DD214 says that I'm still an E3. So hopefully we are HM3 Donaho and HM3 Donaho going to Texas for 5 months for school. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
We were going to try to fit it in.
San Antonio.
Yeah. We were going to try to fit it in like before I got pregnant with the surrogacy. But like all of my doctor's appointments and stuff are going to be crazy in these next couple months. Like, with all the ultrasounds that I have to get and everything before. And then literally it's going to be like, bam, you're ready. You're the perfect spot in your cycle. You're going to Vegas tomorrow. So like it's going to happen so quickly that I'm not going to be able to like put in leave to be gone.
So that's a very big process.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to have to wait until after I get pregnant, but I think we're still going to try to get him in sooner.
I don't know. We're going to see.
So it's like nursing school. Like, we're full on, like, learning how to, like, take blood.
And like, something that I'm considering, but kind of leery about, because I've always wanted to do something that was more involved in, I guess, the military. It would be, I know that's a dumb way to say it, but, like, more combat side and go and actually do stuff instead of sitting on a boat.
Not that there's anything wrong with that,
but I always kind of felt I wanted to go do that. And so I'm thinking about going what's called FMF, which is Fleet Marine Force. And basically, at that point, you join the Marines and you go around with...
So you're like...
If you get deployed, I would be going to
like
actual...
in a war zone, like...
Combat medic.
Treating, like bullet wounds, like blown off limbs. Like, it's crazy. I kind of considered it. After he brought it up, I was like, that would be crazy. But... I don't know if I could like do all the physical stuff, because at that point you have to do the physical standards that the Marines do. So that's like pull-ups,
3 mile run, pull-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups.
Listen, I barely did what I needed to in the Navy. And that's like half of what the Marines do.
A quarter.
Like a quarter of what the Marines do. So I don't know. I think I would like to. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm about to be pregnant. And then after the surrogacy, I want to get pregnant again. And then after that pregnancy with our 3rd baby, I want to get pregnant with baby number 4. And then maybe even do another surrogacy after that. So I'm like, I'm going to be pregnant for the next 4 years.
Some people would call it crazy.
Yeah, whatever. But, so like, I don't know. It's just, I think it'd be cool. But I don't think I could do it. But I don't think he would like sitting in a hospital handing out medical records or giving flu shots. Like, I wouldn't like that either. I really want to do like the disaster relief stuff, like go down like to the Bahamas that, you know, just got hit, and Puerto Rico. Was it Puerto Rico this year or last year? Whatever, but like disaster relief. Like,
Texas, I think Florida,
yeah,
South
like
Carolina.
I think that would be really cool. So like that's kind of where I want to go, like for my 2 weeks that I have to do, because it's 1 weekend a month we have drill. So we thought we were gonna have drill this weekend, but it turns out they had to move drill to next weekend. So which is perfect because we weren't actually picked up yet anyway. So hopefully we'll have our first drill next weekend. So it's 1 weekend a month, and then it's 2 weeks each year. So, like, hopefully in this, we can plan it so in the summertime we can, like, do a little 2-week vacation. We're probably not going to be able to go to the same place, but
we're definitely trying to go overseas. I think we're both in
yeah,
agreement
like,
every time. Because you get orders,
yeah,
is what it is. When your 2 weeks is coming up, you pick orders. It doesn't even have to be in the job that you selected. Like, you can go do security somewhere. You can go...
But, like, I don't want to waste my two weeks that I have to actually do something to be in Norfolk. Like... Yeah. Like, when I was at VAW 120 as an AM, there were AMs that were in their reserves that literally for 2 weeks, they would sit in our shop. Where, like, they really can't even do that much because they don't have all the qualifications they need. So, like, they were just sitting in our shop for 2 weeks. Like, I don't want to waste my time when I only have 2 weeks to get out and, like, do something, like, in the military, you know? Like, that's why we want to do this.
I mean, I know we've seen a lot of places already, and I want to see a lot more. Yeah. Like, do we tell them where we've been to at all? Where all have you gone with your stint in active?
I was in Sicily, Italy, Rhoda, Spain, Dubai, Bahrain, France, Duqm, Oman. Which nobody knows where that one is. So that one's always fun to tell people. It's in
Saudi Arabia.
It's fun to tell people that we were in Duqm, Oman. And they're like, oh! Okay. I'm sorry, guys. We're back again. I'm going to try to figure out to put these videos together because my storage is full and the last video ended. And I'm not sure if I can do that. But if you're watching this, then I figured it out. So that's good. But anyways, so we've been to a lot of places. We want to go to a lot more. I don't want to spend any time in Norfolk because we lived there for 4 years. And I don't particularly want to be on an aircraft carrier either because I was there for...
I would. I miss the boat. It was awesome.
Yeah, but the boat medical, we're literally just going to be handing out Motrin the whole time. And no thank you. But anyways, so we've been to a lot of places. We want to see a lot more. We're so excited about this. We're like something that I think kind of... Like, I wasn't really expecting to feel this way, but, I mean, he feels the same way. But we're really excited to get uniforms again. Yeah. Like...
Get some new ones this time, too.
Yeah, I know. We wore the blueberries last time, and we get...
blue and WUs.
You get the, what are they called now? Like, the type 2s or whatever they are? Type 3s, whatever. But they're, like, the green ones, so we're going to blend in a little bit more this time. Yeah. But, so we're, like, really excited to get the uniform back on. Because, like... how I was saying, like, I'm excited to, like go out in public in them again. I don't know, it makes me feel, like, more confident and more, like, powerful almost. Like, it gives you that sense of strength that, like, you're doing something good, you know? Even when I was in the Navy for 4 years and I was pregnant twice. But still, you know, it's the uniform, you know? So we're really excited.
They are.
Yeah, so...
It's going to be a new fun chapter in our lives.
Yeah, so we're crazy. For everybody else who was in the Navy with us that got out, stay strong. Never again volunteer yourself, okay?
Don't buckle.
Stay strong, guys. Stay strong. But...
For those that are still in, good on you. You made it farther than we did.
Good on you, I guess. But, hey, being a stay-at-home mom is fun. I guess, sometimes. Maybe.
Until they bite your finger.
Yeah, seriously. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. But, yeah, so that's all. That's all we wanted to say. We had big news. No updates with the surrogacy, but big news going on in our lives. So we're really excited, and I'm excited to be in Texas for 5 months. Maybe we'll like it. If anybody has been in Texas around, like, San Antonio, or lived in Texas, or stationed in Texas, or whatever, comment below and, like, tell us some stuff to do, because we're going to be there for 5 months with the kids. And, like, we may have to go separately. So, like, when he goes, me and the kids can go with him because we have nothing else to do. So why not? But when I go, he won't be able to come with me. Like, if we do it separately, because he has to be at work. So it might just be me and the kids. Unless we can both get seats at the same time.
That's what we're trying to do.
Right, that would be preferable. So then, like, I'm not down there by myself with 2 kids, like, in a strange place. But if there are fun things to do, I think, like, Corpus Christi is, like, 2 hours away or something. So if there's, like, fun things to do in that area that you guys have done, comment on this video and tell us what to do, because I want to start planning, because I'm super excited. I've never been to Texas. But actually, just kidding. I was in the Dallas airport. It counts. It counts. I have pictures.
We ate Moe's in Texas.
Yes, we did. So comment below if there's anything fun to do, because I'm all about the adventure. But that's all we have, and we're excited, and I hope you guys are excited too. Yeah. So I'll talk to you guys when I have more updates with the surrogacy, hopefully very soon.